welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is The Fool.
Your 96 best place to listen to...
For 10 years.
Yes, for our 10th season of our mostly up-to-date...
And unqualified. And unrequested.
ramblings of the various issues in the world of sport.
Or something like that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. We are here to talk today about cricket. It's another year with World Cup.
Yay!
Every year is a World Cup. Look, it's gotten to the point every cricket podcaster is like have got like World Cup exhaustion because we just went through a ODI World Cup and we have a T20 World Cup this year for both the men's and the women's. But I think that is a going on thing. We're going to always have a men's and women's World Cup. They're no longer hosting them together, but they will host them in the same year. I kind of like that. It's a pretty cool format. So we're going to obviously do a kit review, but because every cricket team, I'm going to name and shame them. Every cricket team, there's a bunch of cricket teams who have not sent in their project in on time.
No.
They're going to get marked down.
Mercilessly,
but we'll also review the tournament and we'll look at the team, so we'll look at it together. So this is the first World Cup to be hosted by T20 World Cup to be hosted in two nations. Traditionally it's been hosted by one, like even Sri Lanka hosted a World Cup by itself. Bangladesh, in fact, are hosting the Women's World Cup by themselves later this year in only two venues, in Dhaka and in Sylhet up in the hills. The only part of Bangladesh that is more than 200 meters above sea level. And the tournaments here are going to be held in, like I said, in the United States and the West Indies. We've got the usual suspects showing up for the West Indies, the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua, Barbuda, the classic Kensington Oval, heritage stadium of the West Indies in Barbados, Providence Stadium in Guyana, another big heritage stadium, the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground in St. Lucia, the cricket ground named after a man who's captained his team to 2 World Cups.
Nice.
The Amos Vale Stadium in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and obviously the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad and Tobago. I like that the West Indies names all these stadiums after legends that we love.
It's really good.
And in in the United States, we've got 3 stadiums. A brand new stadium built in Grand Prairie, which is also being designed to be the home of USA Cricket. It hosted all of the first season of the USA Premier League. Major League Cricket is what they call it, the MLC, and they are slowly building more grounds throughout this so that they can actually host it in the actual cities. Grand Prairie, just out from Dallas, the oldest cricket ground in North America, the Staten Island Cricket Club, get a nice, brand, shiny new field to rent out whenever they want in Nassau County. It's a 34,000 capacity stadium, massive, but they are hosting an India-Pakistan game, so makes sense. In New York, that's just gonna be epic. That's gonna be an epic atmosphere in the city that never sleeps. But it's gonna be all out in Staten Island, so there's gonna be all these Indians from around the world getting on the ferry to get on there from the airport in Queens to get onto Staten Island. They're like, what's an hour? Like, why is this so long? And all the other New Yorkers are like, you guys are crazy, man. So I'm looking forward to that. And then obviously we've got the stadium in Florida, Central Broward Park, and a stadium that is a state that is no stranger to cricket. Potentially a stadium that might host a CPL team in the future. Who knows? And this is the 3 places they are hosting a bunch of games as well. From both groups. So let us, without further ado, review Group A. We have the people's champion, and by default they're the people's champion because they have the most number of people supporting them, which is India. The blue and orange team, who have got a shiny new kit from from Adidas.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this kit?
I mean, it's a nice kit. I think we were sort of talking before the podcast that it's just the wrong blue for India. And that
yes,
yeah.
I think it is the wrong blue. In fact, the off blue they've got in the stripes that's got running, that would be a better blue, and you keep the darker stripe. That's what I would have done. They didn't consult me.
No. Well, that was their failing, right? That was their failing, not consulting us. We could have told them better.
Not consulting us is always a folly, and I think India, you haven't won an ICC tournament since 2013 ICC Trophy, where you wore your traditional cerulean blue, like the color of what I associate a nice summer day sky.
Yeah.
That's the kit you guys are supposed to have. You don't have that color of blue. It's too dark. I don't mind the orange. I think it's a good off color. Being like this blue is too much like a traditional Sri Lanka blue for me. I will point out that I am only seeing this in pictures. It might be different in real life and might be different how it looks on TV, but I'm watching an Instagram video because they were an epic kit reveal.
Yeah, I did see that as well. Yeah.
But it's a great kit. Aesthetically, it's a fresh-ass kit. This kit is going to be reprinted. People are going to be wearing it for decades. It looks mint.
It does look very good. Yeah, I agree. I say the orange is just a really nice orange. It just looks
goes really well with the blue. It's the right shade of orange. Like, the complementary is done perfectly.
It is done very perfect, which sort of explains maybe why they went with this blue, because I don't know if the cerulean blue would have matched that right. They would have had to have a different orange. It might not have worked as well. So,
and this orange is the right shade for the white stripes, Adidas stripes on the side show, and I think that was a good decision as well. I don't like I said, the kit obviously looks great. The only thing is that it's not the traditional India color of blue, and blue is an important color to get right in the context of cricket, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is arguably one of the oldest colored kits we have. India, I think, let's review, what do you think, how do you think they're going to do this tournament?
I think this tournament they're going to do very well. They're in arguably the easiest group to start with. So does mean I guess the Super 8's a little harder because they'll be playing, they're only not playing Pakistan, though Pakistan at the T20 World Cup is Pakistan at the T20 World Cup. So, not having to play them at the Super 8s is probably a good thing anyway. So.
Yeah, so 2 teams from each group qualify, and there are groups of 5. Group A has India, Pakistan, Canada, Ireland, and the United States. I don't think much of any of the associates' chances in this group, but I think India, they definitely are favorite. Like, India and Pakistan are in this group. They'll both qualify. Let's not mince words. But it is a T20 game. You never know. Ireland has upset Pakistan at World Cups before.
Exactly.
Anything can happen with Canada or the United States has been playing okay. They've got some interesting players in their team as well. They've got a player in their team who has been striking at over 200 at an average of 48 in his 8 games for the Team America. So there's a few I expect there to be good players. A T20 is a more even format of cricket. I think so there's more possibilities. If you do, you get a 5% increase, your opponent gets a 5% decrease on the day, you can catch up, results can go your way. T20 is definitely built for that. So India will not be taking any of their games lightly, I don't think. And it's fun to see Canada back at a World Cup. I feel like they haven't been at an ICC tournament in a long time. obviously in the 2003 World Cup, they had some epic performances, managing to defeat both Bangladesh and Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So to beating 2 test nations, not bad going. But we'll go down to the teams when we look at their kits. I think the only issue India has, as it does with every ICC tournament, there's a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
And the team always plays within themselves. We can only look back to the ICC World Cup ODI World Cup final, like at the end of October, where basically Australia put on a defensive field and India batted defensively. And I think Australia went, okay, thank you very much, we'll take that.
Yeah, well, exactly. So yeah, I think you're right. So the big thing for India is just the weight of expectation.
And I think the naturally conservative style of cricket they play in the team, that's the team culture, which works really well in their test team.
Yeah.
Like, I still think they're they are the best test team in cricket. But in the white ball format, it means that in one-off knockout games, there'll be a game where they don't take the initiative. There's no, like, I can't imagine Brendan McCullum coming into India with some cigars and champagne and being like, hey man, just chill and hit. And that wouldn't work.
No.
I feel like that might work for South Africa, but not necessarily for India. But great. I think India semi-finals at least.
Yep.
In my opinion, but we're not sure whether they can win the tournament. Just purely because I also think the team they've picked is very conservative. Rohit's still there. Virat, I don't think you want to take both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. I know they're both legends of the game, and they are some of the greatest T20 players ever.
Yeah.
But I think you pick one.
Yeah.
At this stage, you can't have both of them.
I think it just plays into what you're talking about the conservative nature of India, right? Yeah. They couldn't afford to really not take both, because if they only take one and then they lose, then that's what's going to be blamed on it. So they have to take both, and if they lose, then it's like, well, we lost anyway. It is, and it is that weight of expectation. When you've got 1 billion and a bit people that are. You feel the weight of them staring down your back, and at every decision that does sort of take a lot of there's a lot of pressure for them, and I understand, but and it shows in these ICC World Cups, that, as you say, they end up playing defensive and not taking the initiative for fear of getting it wrong, and in short ball, in white ball, short form cricket, it's just, you can't do that. You have to push the boundary.
I think you can be defensive on one end, but you have to be, if you've got a defensive batting mindset, your bowlers have to be wicket takers. Even if they go for runs, they take wickets. Or vice versa. You've got defensive bowlers, they don't get many wickets, so you will concede runs at the death, blah, blah, blah. But you've got an incredible batting lineup, so you hope that you just get enough runs to win.
It's that applying pressure,
England
right?
Did.
Yeah.
That's what England did. They had this good, very capable role bowlers who knew their role and did that properly, and they were defensive oriented, if not necessarily fully defensive bowling lineup. Their batsmen just smashed it. Yeah,
exactly. And so it applies that pressure, right? You might not be batting against their bowlers. I can't really score many runs, but their batters are going to be scoring high, so you sort of feel the pressure to lift the run rate, and then that gets you out, because you can't. They're just bowling nice defensive lines and just really keeping it a stranglehold. But if you're going out there and going, I can't really score fast against these, be like, but their batters aren't going to score fast either, then there's no pressure, because you just have to bat slightly better than the others. So they're going to come out and just absolutely start wailing into it. You feel like, well, either we're going to have to take our chances, or we're done for. So that's pressure both ways. It's pressure on the batting, and then also pressure on the fielding, because you have to take those chances when they come your way. Otherwise, that batter's going to take the game away from you.
Absolutely. But that's the big weakness, I think.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the other great the big rival for India on the international cricket stage, Pakistan.
Yeah.
What do you think of their Matrix jersey?
A Matrix jersey. I actually quite like it. It's
I actually quite like it as well.
Yeah. Like just looking at it,
it's way better than the watermelon pattern they did a few tournaments ago. That was not my cup of tea. I've looked at a few pictures of this kit because there's a few things of people wearing them. I think the pants are kind of boring. They could have done a bit more with them, but the kit, like the top is solid.
The top is very solid.
It's very solid. It's an interesting pattern. Like, I think cricket kits should be a bit bonkers, and it's just bonkers enough. It's not too bonkers. I think B tier, bro tier.
Bro tier. I could say I might even push them. I could possibly push them A tier, but then I know we didn't really say, and I think India's S tier for you, and I was sort of marking them down to A tier just for being the wrong blue, which I know. Yeah. So I feel if India's A tier, then Pakistan's probably B tier. I can't quite put them in the same category.
It's not as good as India's kit. No. Like, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
But it's a good kit. Next up, we have Ireland coming back to the T20 World Cup. They had a great performance in the last one. Almost made it to the second round. Definitely a threat in this tournament. I think they could do quite well.
Yeah.
They have not shown us a kit, so they automatically get the dog eat your homework tier.
Yeah, D tiers for them. Not good enough, not releasing.
Not releasing D tiers for them. I think they're off with if they make it to the round of 8, I would not be surprised if they went further.
No,
because that would show that, and they beat South Africa in the last tournament. They beat England as well, so they're capable of beating good teams. They're not just like we'll on our day. They are capable of beating good teams.
I'm actually sort of sad for them just being in this group, just because it's India who's going to just play India style.
Yeah,
and that probably will see I don't see Ireland beating India. And then Pakistan's just, for them, it's just going to be a lottery which Pakistan shows up. And if it's the Pakistan that blows everybody out of the water, then Ireland's done.
Pakistan, I think the problem is because India very conservative. Ireland could potentially, if India bat up to 189, 190, Ireland could chase that. They have a batting lineup strong enough.
Yeah.
And I think in a scenario like that, because that is the scenario, that is the formula if India were to lose to Ireland.
Yeah.
And Pakistan, they have a very attacking bowling lineup and a very defensive batting lineup.
Yeah.
So they have 4 anchors in their team, even more conservative than India are in their batting lineup.
Yeah.
And they don't have that lower order hitting power. So if Ireland can get a few early wickets, that batting lineup is shallow.
Yeah.
And then you're getting into the bowlers, Pakistan have a batting lineup which could be 90 all out, 110 all out,
Yeah. No, exactly. Ireland can get there. I just look at it and go, especially if Ireland was in our group C or Group D, I would be putting, especially Group D, I'd be putting them very highly rated to getting out of that pool. Even pool Group C, with us, that likely.
I concur with that. I think Pakistan, though, if this is a team where if Pakistan get to 189, 191, I'm like, that's a tough ask. Pakistan has a bowling lineup,
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a reason why Virat Kohli's innings against them in that World Cup in 2022 in Australia is so celebrated, because he did it in the last ball with that epic 80. That's like a match, super match winning knock. But we do have a picture of Ireland. We don't have any picture of their kits.
No.
So moving on, we get to our 2 associates. We have the host nation, the USA, and we have Canada. Now, Canada, the USA has only played their first ever T20I 5 years ago, but since then they've had their own have had their own T20 tournament with a bunch of really good players, and they've got some very interesting players who've done quite well in international representation for the USA. Apparently the one to watch out for, according to the ICC, is the batter Aaron Jones. He has an ODI high score of 123, so it's not bad at all. He's from New York, so that'd be great if he could put on a good performance for his hometown. When they play, I do wish, like, the opening game of this tournament is going to be played between the USA and Canada, which is cool because that's the oldest international fixture. But it's not going to be played in New York like when that fixture was originally played in 1844. It's going to be played in Grand Prairie in Texas. It would have been cool to be in Staten Island, like that readers, if you want reading up about what happened in that original game. That's awesome. That's a great story. It's one of the great cricketing stories about how that came around, and then how the situation arose that they ended up having a match and it became an international game. So I highly encourage everyone to read this great Cricinfo. There's a great review of it on Cricinfo. Jared Kimber has done podcasts on it, and even the Wikipedia article about it is cool. So that's a really cool story. They also play in the oldest ever series called the Canty Cup. I don't know if it's going to be up for grabs in this tournament. I might have to ask Jared Kimber how that works. Now, USA have not yet revealed a kit, so we have no choice but to give them a Dog Ate Their Homework tier. Canada have released a kit. I think nice. I like it a lot.
I do like it as well. One of the ones of it didn't look so nice, but it's just the shirt itself. I was like, the one on the ICC website itself, it's a video and it doesn't look that great. Even when it's in that video, it looks a bit meh. It just seems passe. It's a Canadian shirt. It's got a maple leaf on it. But the other link you provided, so the crick.com AU one where it's underlined, so it's a real picture of it. It's like, actually, no, I get it there. Like, that looks a lot nicer there. It's been worn. It's at a ground. It's a real picture. You're like, no, that looks good.
That's a cricket jersey. This is the sort of thing the Canadian football team should have had for their World Cup.
Oh yes, 100%.
Returning for ages back instead of like that boring ass kit that Nike made for them. This kit is a kit that's making a statement. Like, Canada's here, boys.
Exactly.
The pants are great contrast. I like the yellow. I like that they went with the yellow and red rather than just going white. I think that would have been a bit passe.
The only thing I have is just that the maple leaf, I don't know whether that's need to be a slightly different tone or something, because it gets lost in the stripe at the bottom. Or the stripe at the bottom should be the white as well, but that might be a bit too much then. It's just looks a little lost at the bottom.
It's meant to be at the border at the bottom. I mean, I appreciate that it looks like a real maple leaf versus like a stylized Canada flag. Because that's also, like, it's a bit unique and different. I have no hesitation. I think this is A tier.
No, that's where I was putting as well. This is just pure A.
Canadians will proudly wear this kit. Canadian cricket fans will proudly wear this kit for a while.
Exactly.
I like it.
It's very nice.
And the USA, unfortunately, Dog Ate My Homework tier. So what do we like? USA or Canada to be the wooden spoon for this group?
Ooh, that is, not an easy pick. So it's going to be that first game, right? It's just going to come out.
Well, Canada has had to play a qualifying tournament, so they've got some revs, which I like. Obviously, the USA have had the Premier League and a lot of players, but I don't know.
looking at recent games, like they did have a 5-match T20 series, which the United States won 4-0, 4-0. So I would say, yeah,
That's
no,
a recent form.
that's recent form. I'd put that to
But
United
does that
States.
mean
there.
that they're due for a loss to Canada?
Yeah, well, you never know. Maybe Canada's just decided to play possum on them, but yeah. United States, will they? Oh, that's the World Cup, ODI World Cup qualifier they've been playing. That was last year. They ran UAE quite close in that. They ran Ireland quite close in a similar one. Or close-ish, not that close actually when I look closer. But so yeah, I mean they've done well. I think United States are going to take this one. So they've obviously
home
got
crowd, and they're going to be in Grand Prairie in Texas. It's not going to be in Toronto where you had a bunch of Canada fans coming across the border down through the Windsor Bridge. I agree. I think the USA, they'll get 4th place. Unfortunately, Canada, I think they're going to bottom out in this group.
Yeah.
But, they're going to look great in their kits, which is what you want.
Exactly. It's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Next up, we go to Group B, and they are led by England, who have revealed their kit. Let's just get this out of the way. I absolutely hate this kit.
Well, I don't know what it is with England. Like, I feel like each. I feel like the last few World Cups, whether it be, especially the cricket ones, like we've just looked at the England kits and gone, "What have you done? Like, really? What? Like what? What? And this is it. The same. It's just like I feel like they almost did something. Like there's the little blue motive things on the cuffs and the shoulders. It's like you almost wanted to do something,
but you didn't. This is the definition of a meh kit.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a coward's kit. C for cowardice.
C for cowardice indeed.
All that cool bonkers shit that you've got going on in the borders, and that should be out and proud. This is a cricket jersey.
Yeah.
I am going fine. I'm not going to give you superstitious deductions and marks because it's not a blue kit. If England are not wearing blue, what the fuck is wrong with world cricket? I'm sorry.
Yeah. You have that as well. It's just like
they're not wearing their sky blue jerseys. Fine. No. Okay, you're gonna wear red. Okay, fine. It sucks. This kit it's not a fashion crime because it's not even funny. It's not even good enough to be a fashion crime. Like, I hate a lot of, I think a lot of people arguably thought that the New Zealand teal kits were fashion crime. But they've come back because they were ironically cool. This will not even be ironically cool in 20 years.
No, exactly. It's just no. It is just straight up no, that's not good, it's not going to work. And yeah, I think you're right. There's no point to it. People are not going to come back to it later and be like, this is still cool, man. This is retro. You're like, no, it just sucks. It just straight up sucks.
Yeah. So. This kit sucks, but I like their team. It's good, really, really exciting. We don't have the bowling. It's the same formula. They've got a bit of leg spin, a bit of wrist, a bit of finger spin, a bit of medium pace, a bit of fast pace with Mark Wood. You've got like Jonny Bairstow and Joss Butler, and a whole heap of great supporting cast players who can hit the ball and hit the ball very, very, very hard.
Yeah.
Look, England play white ball cricket the right way. This is no bones about it. I expect them to top this group. I expect them to make the semi-finals, if not the finals.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I think maybe Australia might run them hard, but especially recently Australia's been starting slow in the ICC World Cup, so I sort of feel like that's going to be the same here. That they won't. That England's going to beat them on the 8th of June, so yeah.
I think that England's going to beat them on the 8th of June. May not beat them in a knockout game. Yeah. Also, that England-Scotland game might be spicy. in Barbados. Scotland has taken a few test scalps in ICC tournaments. They've beaten England in both T20s and ODIs, and like beaten England well, like chasing down 300 plus, beating England.
Oh yeah.
So Scotland are not out of this group. Scotland have more than capable of beating Australia, more than capable of beating England. I expect England to go ahead, but I think I expect Australia to go ahead, but if I were both those teams, I'd be wary of Scotland.
Yeah. I mean, I look at this group much like Group A.
Also, Namibia.
Yeah, much like Group A, where you got Scotland and maybe Namibia as well, that are like, you're technically good enough. And if you were in a different group, I'd be a bit more excited about you, but in this group, I don't see it happening.
But any bowling lineup that has 2 wrist spinners and 2 left armers who are more than 6'4" are a pain to deal with. That's a match you have to win. That's you got to put in an actual shift with your batters.
Yeah.
And Namibia have always kind of strung in together like a good performance with their bat. Like even if they don't get a big score from one guy, you'll get they've always like built something together with which is worth more than the sum of their parts. I've always really liked their team. So I would not be surprised at all if Namibia got a game or even managed to come second, because that bowling lineup is deadly. It's not just like, oh, that's good for an associate team. That's good for a team. Bowling lineup.
Yeah.
That's a bowling lineup that can win games. So that's something for both Australia and England to be concerned about. But yeah, D tier, C tier kit for the Sky Blues, but we're going good. We like them in the semis.
Yeah, I think so.
We like them in the semis, and Australia. Why Australia? Why? Let's die. You went back to yellow. You won 2 World Cups. Why would you do this? You are the proof that showed my theory is correct.
Yeah, I don't know as well. Like really, Australia.
But the kit looks banging. This is put out there. It looks great.
I'm not as sold on it. I mean, I see where it's good, and I understand its appeal. I'm not. I think it's more of a B tier than an A tier to me.
It's a B tier kit. It's not an A tier. Definitely not an S tier.
No, definitely not S tier. I'd say it's definitely better than it's. They've done something with it. It's not passing. It's not C's get degrees. It's not cowards. It's not boring.
If this kit was swapped color, yellow to green, and you kept the green pants, that's an S tier kit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like right there.
That's a winning kit. Like if they swap that round, that's
a world champion world champion kit. But no. Okay, so Australia are gonna lose to Namibia and not make it to the knockouts. Are we agreed?
With this kit, yeah, 100%.
That's our prediction. You heard it here first. So going back to Namibia, I really like their kit.
I really like their kit.
So good, such a good. They had a shirt design competition, so someone from the public came in, designed this kit. It looks so good. Obviously, their logo with the eagle looks badass.
Yeah.
They're blue. They've got a bit of red. This is S tier every day of the week. Fresh tier kit.
Definitely, this is S tier personified. I think, knowing that this was a competition they ran, I'm like, next World Cup, ICC World Cup, every nation has to do this. Just don't do it yourself. Like Namibia is showing you the way. Send it to the public. You get the freshest kits this way.
The guy who clearly designed this kit with how do I make the most awesome kit ever?
Yeah.
And just put it out there.
Yeah.
And everybody went, this is awesome. Let's do this. And they did it. That's exactly how it should work.
That's exactly how it should work.
Great kit. Now.
And so just going on that sorry, yeah, and yeah,
Do we,
Namibia
since we're
100%
Yeah, go
deserved to beat Australia with that kit. Like, just
Oh, 100%.
yeah,
Kid power will beat all. But
yeah.
what do we like for Namibia? Second round, or are they going to lose to Scotland? Unfortunately, because one of those two are going to the second round, right? Like not
Yeah.
Australia.
Not Australia, no. Definitely not. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be close, that game. I think probably Namibia, though. As you do
Yeah.
point out, Scotland has sort of the pedigree. Like, they've beaten the Test playing nations before at this. Don't
And
think
they are the
Namibia has.
Moneyball team.
Yeah, they're the Moneyball team. I don't think Namibia has won at this sort of level or this end of the competition. So, like, it's a new thing for them if they do. Well, Scotland
Yeah, they did qualify. They did qualify from the qualifying round to the main tournament in the last World Cup. So
Yeah, yeah.
we got to give them that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it was,
Um,
they haven't won in the main tournament. They won in the qualifying tournament, which I know they've changed the format a bit, so therefore it's a little different.
You're right. Scotland is a more pedigreed team. They have they get to play more games. They're more well funded, and they also have a very good bowling lineup. But they also don't have a leg spinner, so
Yeah, I know.
that evens things a little bit.
Yeah, I want to say Namibia, but it's just because Scotland just has that little bit of pedigree, has that history, and just has been here, done it before, and has won those bigger games. But
I think what it comes down to is how does their kit compare to Namibia's?
I mean, yeah, there is that.
What do you think of their kit?
I actually don't mind it. It's quite nice.
I don't mind it at all.
No.
It's bonkers as hell. It's
It's really bonkers. It's really awesome.
This is like it's just bonker. It's the right amount of over the top. Like,
Yeah.
this is not a fashion crime because it is intentionally over the top, and it's got everything going on in its design. It's got the blue pants to make it the traditional Scotland.
Yeah.
Dark blue. They know what they're doing. They're keeping it. It's like business below, but party at the top.
Yeah,
Like a cricket kit should be.
Yeah, yeah. I say, and they
this
haven't gone away
is-
from traditional colours, right?
Looking closer, this is I don't know. I feel like this is an S tier kit. I don't even have to think about it. Like,
Yeah.
far away, some of the people modeling it have not given it a good light. Like, that picture with the team wearing it they don't look great, but with the individual model shots, they look great.
Yeah. I
Like,
think
when
it's
you can
close.
see the sides, that's
Yeah.
what I'm like, oh no, this kit's got it. Like, it's got every little thing done.
Yeah. I think this is where I would put it, especially if we're looking at Scotland versus Namibian kit things. I'd put them. They're still S tier, but they're not as S tier as Namibia because.
No,
like,
Namibia, like the collar fray, it's such a great design. Like this
Yeah.
one, I like the collar, but I think the Namibia collar fray thing just looks better. Like, it looks like such a good cricket kit, like.
Yeah. I think the thing is
So-
just say from a distance, the further you're away from the Scotland kit, the worse it looks. The closer you get, the better it looks. Well, Namibia, it doesn't matter. Like, it looks.
Yeah, it looks
fresh, no
good,
matter what.
full
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
So I think, so we're saying Namibia goes to round 2. Is
Yeah.
what we're.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, cool. Summarize. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're in agreement.
We're in agreement.
Group C, obviously the team that's going to start. We're going to start with the team that's obviously going to top. Sorry, Oman has not yet revealed their kit.
Oh yeah.
So in Group B, Oman have done some good kits. So unfortunately, we do have to give them a D. I feel bad for giving associate countries Ds for this because they're associate countries.
Yeah.
It's not, most of their players are like part-timers, blah, blah, blah. So it's a D, but they're an associate, so, don't,
Yeah.
it's not such a big thing. But I think Oman have played really well in T20 World Cups. They've put in a good performance, but I think every team in this group is better than they are.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, bottom for them.
Yeah.
But they do have a few good players who've done really well in international level. They've Akib Elias, their captain. He's their most experienced member. He's played CPL stuff, and he was player of the tournament in the Asia qualifiers. So,
Yeah.
We'll see. They've Oman are not going to shame themselves. They're going to put in a good performance, I think, in almost every game, except maybe against England.
Yeah.
Because England just eats associates now for breakfast.
Yeah, they do.
So, moving on to Group C, obviously the real people's champion, the Black Caps.
The Black Caps, yeah. Gone to their team.
Doing ultimate tier. Okay, look at this. So, what do we think of their chances? I think they're gonna go to the semis, obviously.
Yeah.
I think they're
all the way, man. All the way.
They might not beat the West Indies in the match they play against them in the Brian Lara Academy in Trinidad, but I think they'll do really well in this group. I think it's also a tough fixture against Afghanistan in Guyana. That's a very good spin bowling pitch, but New Zealand players have been playing a lot of CPL. Caribbean conditions are not alien to them, and New Zealanders tend to do well, like batting wise, in the Caribbean. They are playing all their games in looks like Trinidad and Guyana. I think that's an advantage. That's very close by, not much travel time between the two countries. Yeah. Both are very spin heavy pitches, so they know what strategy they need to bring in and what the batters need to practice on. They are not getting much practice before the tournament starts. Gary Stead has said he's going to lean on their experience. So that is obviously something to be concerned about, I think.
I think
especially if the West Indies start hot, and also Afghanistan could start hot too. They both get to play a game. West Indies get to play Papua New Guinea, Afghanistan get to play Uganda. You would think both those teams would start off with wins before New Zealand play Afghanistan. So that's a very, very important game for New Zealand. But I think if they can beat Afghanistan in that first game, then the road to the semi-finals are sort of there.
Yeah. I think that's the thing with New Zealand. Like, we play Afghanistan, then West Indies, right? Yeah. So our big games are first. They're only Afghanistan. I'm not as worried about. I know we're playing they have world-class bowling attack, obviously. But each of the last billion World Cups, T20 World Cups, even the ODI World Cup, we've played them and we've outplayed them each time. So I don't really see that changing. I feel like maybe it's still a little bit off, though there's been maybe with so many of them, Afghanistan may start rubbing off, but they're still wilting a bit under that pressure. And West Indies, whilst you say it's at home, it's in the Brian Lara Stadium, once again, we've just had the rub on them, so it is a T20 in the West Indies, so it
is a T20 in the West Indies. I think the crowds will support them. I think they're going to start off with 2 wins before they face us, because they'll play Papua New Guinea and Uganda, so they'll have some momentum. I do think they will beat Afghanistan in St. Lucia. That's not a pitch that's going to suit Afghanistan. It's going to be reliant on who has the best spin and who plays the spin better in that West Indies-New Zealand game in Trinidad. I think the West Indies are making the semis. Just my hunch feeling.
All right.
Everybody's counting them out. Everybody thinks that the team, lost a bunch of legends. It's completely new. But this is what happens to the West Indies in T20s. They refresh with new players. They get a captain who's really, really canny and knows how to lead the team. And it's at home. So I think the West Indies are going to go far. Like I said, I don't know if they'll win, but I am predicting. No team has won a T20 World Cup at home yet.
Yeah, no.
So I think the West Indies are going to make the semis, though.
I'm not as optimistic about the West Indies. I feel like they'll make it through the Super 8s, but they'll fall there. And I
also
say that
for their kit.
The West Indies one? I don't know. The West Indies one.
I mean, there's no West Indies don't have a kit out yet, so D for your homework.
No.
What do you think of we're arguing between first and second in this group. You don't think they'll semis. I think they will.
Yeah.
But I do think they're going to play well in the tournament, even if they don't necessarily make the semis.
Yeah, I definitely will.
I think they could win. They could be still in it when it comes to the last round of the Super 8s.
Yeah.
What do you think of New Zealand's kit?
I am divided about it. I don't think I really ever liked the original teal, so...
This is the original fashion crime version of the teal kit, and I think it's still a fashion crime.
Yeah, I don't like it. So I never really liked the first one. This one, it's an update on it, and it's probably better than the original. Maybe?
Yeah. Slightly better than the original, but not much better. And like the one they actually wore in the World Cup was better because it had like the silver ferns going along the middle. Yeah, like, that gave it something.
Yeah.
Whereas this one doesn't even have that. It's nothing compared to the classic teal kit that everybody hated but loved and bought anyway, which I have. Like that's I nearly spent 30 minutes talking about that kit in our review of it, but that's like that's a classic kit, right? Like even now people think that's a kit, like New Zealand's kit where the silver fern goes, or diagonally across the whole shirt.
It's got the black and the teal at the top. That's
a great kit. This is not a good representation of a teal kit. I think New Zealand F tier for the kit. This is our first fashion crime.
I think so too. It's definitely like just I keep wanting to get behind it, and I just can't. So, F tier, fashion crime.
F tier.
Yeah.
Fashion crime. What do we think about Afghanistan's kit?
Where are they? Afghanistan. Oh, it's a nice blue. I do like the blue.
It is?
Yeah.
I think this is one of the better blues they've done. I think they've done a nice pattern job on it.
It is a real nice pattern job.
They've got apparently a bunch of tribal patterns to represent all the different tribes and peoples of Afghanistan.
Oh, that's nice as well, yeah.
It's a right blue, I think, for Afghanistan. It's not Sri Lanka blue, it's not India blue, it's not England blue. It's got its own thing, which I like. It's a much less garish color than what I think is in the Scotland kit. I'm tempted. This is like, it's just a bit understated.
Yeah.
This is the only reason I'm not giving it an S tier. I think it's an A tier. It's just a bit understated. It's not quite like, wow, they're saying something enough to be a fresh tier kit, but it's a great kit. A tier for me.
Yeah. I'm not as sold on it. I like it. It's nice, but it doesn't quite meet, for me, sort of the A. Like, I don't really feel like I would go around wearing it. I feel like this is the sort of kit that, Afghani cricket fans gonna buy, gonna wear, they're gonna like. So to me, that feels like it's upper end B, but it's a B tier kit.
Yeah.
It's good. It's solid. Does its job. It's just not that next level for me.
Fair enough. B for you, A for me. I do like their video, like release video for it. That was pretty epic.
Oh, that was once again a really good video.
Really great video. I've got now the other team in this group making other two teams, Papua New Guinea in their second T20 World Cup, and obviously Uganda. Qualifying for the first ever World Cup. I do think Papua New Guinea, that's going to be a very interesting game. And the 5th of June, pretty much all the players from Papua New Guinea come from this one village. Apparently, according to Jared Kimber. Uganda, it's interesting because they did technically get represented in the second ever ODI World Cup as East Africa.
Oh, wait a sec. I lost you for a second. Start from East Africa, second World Cup.
But, sorry, you lost me? When do you want me to start off from?
From them, Uganda technically being part of the second East Africa in the second World Cup.
Yeah, so technically, Uganda are making another appearance because they were here with East Africa, but this is the first time they get to be on their own. African countries in cricket have been coming up leaps and bounds. We've seen Namibia. We've unfortunately lost Kenya a little bit, but I think they will they're also slowly making a comeback. Teams like Nigeria, Uganda, expect to see more of these teams from Africa in the coming ICC tournaments. Cricket is picking up like wildfire on the.
Oh, that's good to hear.
On that continent. So that is great to hear. We love to see it. And Uganda, their team has got it's a multi-ethnic team, much like Kenya. A bunch of people from East African descent, a few obviously Africans, and obviously people of mix. Their key player is Riyazat Ali Shah, who beat the all-rounder who got 42 of 28 balls in the middle order to beat Zimbabwe to qualify through.
Oh, nice.
Unfortunately, another World Cup not being played by Sikandar Raza. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously such a great player. But yeah, Uganda's got there. They've played really, really well. I do think this Papua New Guinea team, they have the vibes. They've played together. And I think they know each other's games so well, and that chemistry must be like absolutely incredible in that team.
Yeah.
But while I would not count Uganda out, because they're proudly displaying an incredible kit.
Yes.
I think Papua New Guinea is just going to have a bit too much for them. I like to back my Oceania brothers, so I'm gonna pick Uganda to get the wooden spoon. But once again, I don't think they're going to shame themselves. They're gonna play. They're gonna do a really good job, I think, representing their country in their first World Cup.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Uganda's kit. So I only have one question: is it S tier or S plus tier?
Yeah, I sort of agree. Well, probably it has to be S tier. It's very good. I think it has to be S tier. I still like.
It goes with the pants though. So good. The full kit.
Oh, with the pants, yeah. That's just perfect with the pants, yeah. I still think Namibia's kit's better, so that's why I wouldn't be that much further. But they were this. Uganda was a design competition too. See, proof of concept. Everybody needs to do design competitions. The best kits, design competition, right there.
Exactly, and the feathers look great on the sides and on the pants. The stripes, it's just enough.
Look at the wings on the back. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
This is why I think it's an S tier kit.
Oh no, it's S tier kit, definitely. So I'm still.
I think it's an S tier kit. I think it's my. Actually, there's another kit from Africa which I think is better, but it's arguably one of my top two kits in this game. In this tournament, but I like it. S tier, easy S tier, any day of the week.
Yeah, every day of the week, S tier.
Papua New Guinea, look, they have a palm tree on their kit, which is what we want from Papua New Guinea, so we can, it's black and red, once again, what we want from Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
Standard, exactly what we want. They got the assignment, they did better than a C. This is B tier.
This is definitely B tier. Yeah.
Good job. Bro tier, Papua New Guinea, they're doing the ultimate bro tier kit.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Though the pants are great on this kit, I will say.
Yeah. Oh, actually, they're nice. I saw the picture of
the pants.
It goes down.
To A tier.
No, I think it's still.
Okay. I think you're right. It's still B. You're right.
Still B.
Yeah.
I mean, the pants are fire and all, but still a B tier overall. Yeah. They say it's just bruh.
This is the bro kit. You love bruh, but we do think they're going to beat Uganda, unfortunately, on the cricket field.
Yeah, but I think you're right.
We can never overcome the power of vibes.
No, exactly. As you say, then the fact that they all basically come from the same village, that chemistry is just going to be, that's going to get them a long way. So yeah, I think they'll beat Uganda as well.
Right. Next we have Group D. one of the most interesting groups to predict. The only group that has 3 test nations, and I think 3 very strong test nations as well.
Yeah.
Along with Group C, who obviously also Group C and Group A have 3 as well.
Yeah.
Now, we'll start off with South Africa, who qualified as the top seed on this group. What do we think of South Africa? It's a World Cup. T20s. They have a really, really good team.
Yeah.
And I do expect them to do well in the group stage. I even expect them to do well. Like, I'll put it this way: if it's not the West Indies who make the semis, I think South Africa will be the team that makes the semis. That's my 4th, because we're not picking Australia, right? Bad kit means bad World Cup.
Yeah, bad kit, bad World Cup. They're done. They never should.
But
yep. Maybe.
This is my favorite kit of the World Cup.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like this kit.
I'm not as sold on it. I'm sorry.
A few seasons ago, I gave South Africa a bunch of crap for putting on a rugby jersey and saying it's a cricket jersey.
Yeah.
They took notes. They've been listening to our podcast.
I mean, there is that.
Cricket jersey. It's got enough patterns to do the Proteas, and you can tell on the yellow. It's got a bit of yellow, but it's mostly green. So they're respectful. Like, they're keeping some of the yellow, like it's a recent change, but they're going back to the classic bottle green, the green we associate with South Africa.
Yeah.
And it's a rainbow flag, so well done on the thing. Like, it's exactly the right amount of stated.
I do like those things.
The pets go with it.
Yeah.
It's a kit by Lotto. It's very much a Lotto style kit as well. Like, I think it's fashionable. This is the right type of understated for a cricket kit to be.
Yeah, I mean,
I understand. It's not bonkers, but it's awesome.
I do agree that it's the right sort of kit. I still feel it's too much yellow though.
I agree, but as I said before, I was not going to penalize a team for superstitious reasons, but also I think this yellow, they're actually making it work. They've actually got to with the yellow, and like the way, because they've kept the pants nice and green. I think and also, like, this team's already cursed.
Yeah.
You may as well. Fuck with the jersey.
That was going to be my next point. Like, it is too much yellow for me, and it doesn't quite work as well for me personally, just because it's got that little bit too much yellow. But at the same time, you do you, South Africa. I mean, like, don't stick with the traditional because you're a cursed team. Like, just, you need to do something different. So in this case, like,
yes.
I understand the assignment. Well done. It's just too much yellow for me.
I like it. Like I said, it's my favorite kit of the tournament. I immediately fell in love with. This is the first time I ever felt like I need to buy a South Africa jersey. They're one of the teams I like to go against at World Cups and like cricket tournaments, rugby tournaments. I like them in football though, like that big nice little football team.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great kit. To me, it's an S tier. I'm guessing you're saying it's an A or B tier for you.
I'm going with A tier. It's still right up there. It's not Namibia. It's not Uganda. So I'm not. Those are just. It's not even Scotland really. Like, these are the S tiers for me. So I'm putting it A.
I understand what you're saying. Like, I see the vibe that you're liking. This is not the vibe you're liking.
It's not vibing with me. So, I like all the bits of it. Like, I'm not saying it's not a bad kit. And like, the closer you look, the nicer it is. It's not vibing. And say the yellow. It's just, once again, just still too much yellow for me. But I'll give it an A.
Fair enough. Now, next seed is Sri Lanka. Do we even need to review? They're just always S tier. We just expect Sri Lanka to come out with. Sri Lanka may as well be called S tier Lanka.
Yeah. I was going to say that. I know we have S tier as fresh tier, but I feel for the ICC World Cups, the S tier is the Sri Lanka tier. Like, are you as good?
It is exactly right. It is the Sri Lanka tier. the pearl of the Orient, the kit makers, they know what to do in the World Cup. How good is that? Like that contrast in blues, like it's
perfect.
School blue for the pants, just middle blue for it's so good. Like S tier, like they don't even need to try anymore. Like they just effortlessly seem to be cool. Like just like Sri Lankans in real life, they're just effortlessly cool. This is how it happens.
Exactly. Like, to me, like Sri Lanka is the baseline for S tier at a Cricket World Cup kit. Like, you need to be this cool to be an S tier. Like, it's...
Yes, agreed. Immediately want to buy this kit. Immediately looks incredible. Moose Clothing Company, never heard of you guys. You made a banger.
Yeah.
Absolute banger.
Exactly.
So, you love to see it, but you also expect to see it. You know, this is like, you got an A+, but we all knew you were getting an A+, Sri Lanka. Well done.
Yeah.
We should still celebrate you, but
I know, that's definitely.
It's no less than expected.
Yeah. Exactly.
Snaps, and all that.
Snaps and all that.
What do we think of their chances in the tournament? They do play against apparently their greatest rivals, Bangladesh, who are D tier for kits because they have not revealed a kit yet.
Yeah.
They do play in New York as well, which is great for them against South Africa. There's going to be a great Sri Lankan community going to come out and support that team. They played Bangladesh in Dallas. Once again, I think great atmosphere in that game. And obviously South Africa play Bangladesh in New York, so that's going to be an incredible game as well. Bangladesh do go down to St. Vincent to play against Netherlands and Nepal. Did so, I think Sri Lanka Sri Lanka play a game against Nepal in Florida, so that should be interesting as well.
Nice,
And then they go play. Look, this is a tough group. There are no bad teams.
No,
All
exactly.
5 of these teams can realistically make the next round.
Yeah, no, I looked at Group D and was like, that's the group of death right there. Like,
this
as
is
you say.
the legit group of death. And there's not like, there's a little bit of me giving a few small, puffing up a bit for the USA and Canada.
Yeah.
And like, but there's no puffing up here. These are all good teams. Netherlands are no strangers to T20 World Cup back-to-back tournaments. They've reached the Super 12s in 2022. They got a victory against South Africa in that tournament. Bangladesh are a team that can definitely lose to associates. Sri Lanka, a team that can definitely lose to associates. Let's be fair, so can South Africa. As they've done. Max O'Dowd is still a massively good hitter, and Netherlands have a good left arm spinner and a good leggy. Like, wow. What more could you want? And the bowler who bowls like, left arm swing. Just a bit here and there. In Nepal, they've got Sandeep Lamishine, a guy who's played a lot of IPL and done very well in it. A guy Bangladesh almost poached to play for them. Just because Nepalese and Bengalis almost sort of mutually intelligible.
All right.
Vaguely, like you understand 80% of what Nepalese people are saying if you can speak on Bangla. The Rhinos make it back to the T20 World Cup, and Rohit Paudel has been batting really, really well. He's 21 years old. He's hungry. This team is like no pushover whatsoever. If I have to be pushed to pick a side to go through, I will obviously pick Bangladesh. And I think Sri Lanka just always do well in T20 World Cups, don't they? Like, that's just a pedigree.
There it is. I feel like perhaps they're helped along by their kits at the World Cups. Because they always seem to do well, but I don't know if I really want to pick the second team out of Group D. Like, I feel any answer's wrong. I feel like South Africa's, whilst they can choke, group stage is not where that's going to happen.
Yeah, agreed.
I think once again, I think you're right. They
But
make
the
it
way
to
this plays out, like, because the last game, South Africa play Nepal. Oh no, they don't play Nepal on the last day, so they might, maybe we'll see how it works out.
yeah.
What do you think of their kit? Nepal and the Netherlands.
So Nepal, I see where they're going, and it nearly works for me, but not quite. Like it just.
I think the ideas are clever. They've got a rhino. They've got a mountain that sort of looks like the Nepalese flag put on its side.
Yeah.
And it's doing a bit of a double. Like, look, it's a creative and elegant design. It's not quite bonkers enough.
Yeah.
For me, because they're doing bonkers elements, but not going like the South African kit. What I like about it is that they're not doing bonkers elements.
No,
they're
no.
being clean, and it's done clean correctly.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no,
It's a
that's
clean
yeah.
kit.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Agreed.
not a clean kit. Like Namibia's got a clean kit.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Uganda's bonkers kit. They're both done right, but
Yeah.
they're both, we agree they're both S tier. This one is not a bad kit by any stretch of the imagination, though. I think B tier.
I think B tier as well. Yeah, yeah. Like I feel like they could have possibly gone a little bit more bonkers, and that potentially could have pushed them up. It could have potentially made it a fashion crime, but I think they've sort of, they say they've got a little bit of the bonkersness. They've like gone, we can be a little bit, but we're not going to go too far. So BTS seems about right.
I, on the other hand, really, really, really like the Netherlands kit.
I do too. I like it. That is quite good.
I think it is an S tier as well, because they've done the right way of putting in the blue in the middle where it like attracts attention. It says Netherlands rather than Holland, like it did in 1996.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a bit sad that cricket are no longer so un-PC as they used to be. The stripes along the blue looks great because it's kind of a throwback to that first kit they had in the '96 World Cup. Just a bit of a tribute.
Yeah.
And like just enough blue on the leg. Like how cool does that look? It's just
That
on
is-
on the left leg. Like and the blue colors. It's so good. This is a Dutch kit. It's not red. It's proper Dutch orange.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
No, I agree. They've got the right color. It looks good. I think I agree. It's S tier as well.
S tier, like this is exactly like what you want to see a Dutch kit to look like, and like the team, like it's a bit understated when you see the team wear it, like on that staircase thing. But when you see the single person wear it, like, you can see all the elements, and it's like, oh yeah, this is great. It's gonna look incredible on TV.
Exactly.
Especially when they're running across, and you see like when they're running to like mid on, and you can see the thing, or running to cover, and you can see the blue on their leg as they're running. That's gonna look so cool.
Yeah,
you can already tell this is gonna be a cool kit.
Oh, definitely. I put this a bit like the Scotland kit. Like it's well done, and I really like it, and it works for me. But at the same time, there's a few critiques I could have, but not enough to drop them down a tier. And you say once on the field, it's going to look awesome. Same as the
it's gonna
Scotland
always
one.
be fresh.
Yeah.
This is a rare kit that you might actually want to buy the bottoms as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And go full kit wanker with this. Also, Grey Nichols making a kit. Like they know what they're doing, right? They're a cricket jersey company making a cricket jersey. Like that's what you want to see. I want to show some Grey Nichols because they're a cricket only brand, right? And they're doing
exactly. And they're doing cricket stuff, so they know what they're doing. So that makes it not surprising, right, that they've come up with such a fresh kit.
Yeah, such an appropriately fresh kit.
Yeah.
And the Netherlands might be, they might go far. Like, we're not surprised that if the Netherlands make it to the second round.
No, not going to be surprised at
It's a
all.
bit of a stretch to expect them to go to the semis, but could happen. They have a bowling. Like, every team in the T20 World Cup that has a good bowling lineup can make it to the semis.
Yeah.
We all know this is a game that's designed, like, the best bowling teams are going to get through. And they're a great fielding side as well.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I agree. Like, not a surprise the Netherlands make it, and they make it to Super 8. Who knows, anything could happen, but you get to that bit, still a few games to go to get somewhere, but a couple more upsets and suddenly everything's clicking together, right?
Right, and like the Netherlands are, to be fair, though they're not a full member, they're almost a pseudo full member because they played in the ICC Super League.
Yeah.
And for the 2023 World Cup, and they qualified for the ODI World Cup ahead of a bunch of test teams, including the West Indies. So they're good.
Oh, they're definitely
They've
good.
been playing, and they're professional. They have a bunch of players that play in the cricket leagues around the world, and they did it with a second 11. Like all their pros who played county cricket couldn't play for that team.
All right, yeah.
Managed to get it through. So we know that like they're not a team that's reliant. Oh, one or two injuries happens, they're gonna be stuffed. They're not. They're a great team. The only reason I think they're not a full member is the Netherlands are not actively applying for it, and I don't think they want to play test matches, which is a shame because I think these players would be great in a test match. I'd love to see them play a 5-day game, especially like if Scotland also got through, like you play Scotland, Ireland, the Netherlands in test matches, like that would a nice little try tournament, like second division for this World Championship. Let's get it set up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was listening to, you might have listened to the same one, one of the Jared Kimber and Bumble podcasts, and that was Jared Kimber's point. It was like, why be so exclusionary? Like, just if teams want to play a 5-day test match at cricket, let them play a 5-day test match at cricket. Like, why stop them? And I think say Netherlands Scotland test match. It sounds awesome.
And try series with Ireland in test matches. They're close enough by. You can. That's not a. That's a that could do even if you just played a bunch of like combined it with like ODIs and T20s to like get crowds and people. England could send even like a B team to play in these tests, like even the white ball to because England has so many players.
Exactly.
Who need to be matches? Like this is like it would work for everybody.
Just send like a county 11 or something. I don't know. If they were that worried about it.
I think Scotland and the Netherlands definitely are teams that deserve to be full members.
Yeah.
And like there should be pathways for other Europe is picking up cricket, and the climate in especially southern Europe, countries like Croatia, Spain, Portugal, they're cricket climates. You get a nice 4 or 5 month dry summer. Look, cricket is the most popular sport in Gibraltar. Like, I have no doubt it could be the most popular summer game in a lot of European countries, like summer team sport to play.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it competing with? Festivals? Sure, but a lot of people want to play sport in summer too. And like it's played so popularly, it's picked up so popularly across Eastern Europe as well, like in Romania and Bulgaria and Ukraine. Ironically, almost because of the war, more than despite the war. And it's like they're doing really great things for the game there, and obviously for the people as well. So I think the ICC should be less exclusionary, and I think the Netherlands, I'd love for them to do really, really well in this tournament as well, because I think they deserve to be considered to be one of those teams that are like they're a full member. They're just like Sri Lanka for like 20 years should have been a full member but weren't. Like they were given test status way too late.
So I think that's right. They just need to let these teams play, even if you have a second tier test championship where they're playing. That's fine. So just let it happen.
Official, they could just be like, this is totally not a test championship. We're just playing around for the 5-day cricket. Let's just play.
Let's just do it. Oh, we're playing a first class match. Oh, we just came for the 5th day.
Look, if it was a test match, if this was a second division, this is how the ranking works. But it's not official. You don't have to pay attention to it or anything like that. It's all vibes. It's all vibes in the end.
Just all vibes, man. I know. Find a way to distract the BCCI and we'll be fine.
I don't necessarily think the people in the BCCI are that concerned. I think
Probably
they're
not, no.
very much like too busy fighting with each other.
There is that.
Nobody is in charge of cricket, as Jared Kimber keeps complaining about.
Yeah, no, I was going to be that as well. I mean, that's the other thing, right? That Jared Kimber brought up in the same series of podcasts. Like, the biggest problem is there's no one running the game. Who runs the game? Who knows? No one.
Yeah, let's just be like Jared Kimber and Bumble. Like, that was the one video that they disabled comments, and I can understand why. Where they were talking about match fixing and cricket matches, and he's very right that, like, not to put a downer, but we should be wary that if a game's on TV and people watch it, people are gonna bet on it. Look, there was a group of Indian people who created a fake IPL tournament, which they broadcast to people in Russia gambling, and they nearly got away with like scamming people of like millions of rubles.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But these guys don't know the rules of cricket.
Yeah. Exactly.
And this tournament, this IPL tournament happened after the IPL was over. They didn't even bother to check. And if that's how much money you can make off like such an elaborate scam, how much is happening with like a more competent, scamming?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think Jared Kimber was correct. Like, people in cricket just aren't sure yet. They can't talk about people, things that they might suspect without proof, especially in libel and things. But instead, you can talk about things we do know, like what amount of money has been bet on a game. Like, just report it. Report, hey, this game had millions of dollars bet on it for some reason. Don't know why.
Legal betting companies are openly wanting to share this info with cricket boards. Be like, look, if you want us to catch cheaters, they hate cheaters, they hate match fixers.
I know,
gambling companies.
Oh, gambling companies want to catch it more.
Yes. So your sports betting companies are on your side and will help you provide data. At worst, you can at least be like, there's some suspicious stuff there. We need to look into this. We need to see if there's a pattern. But it's probably not gonna. At this day and age, you have like great cricket games being streamed on YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's gonna. We know it's impossible to stop match fixing, especially spot fixing.
Yeah. So they're just not going to catch it, and they're definitely not going to catch it the way they're trying to catch it currently. Right.
Yeah. So I think so I think it's something they need to look into. I hope the tournament obviously will go on. I think this is too high profile a tournament. These sort of things won't happen, you hope.
Yeah.
But it's just like, this is the elephant in the room with cricket. It's always something we have to think about, where when you read about the history of cricket, like, that makes sense. We have cricket because people bet on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Being bet on cricket, match fixing is almost not a bug; it's a feature.
Almost, yeah.
I mean, like a great novel written by George Bernard Fraser. It's called Flashman's Lady, and it's the second chronologically of his Flashman series, and. This is the one about his cricketing career, where he ends up playing a cricket game and he accidentally gets involved in a match-fixing thing. And the thing is, like, everybody's really, like, the way they're talking about it, he's like, he knows it's a thing that happens and everybody knows, but, people kind of also, don't put too much of a blind eye on it unless you're playing to lose. So first it starts off with him getting extra money by accident because they like go, oh, we just want to bet on you not getting out, and he's like the number 9 batter because he's a bowler in the team. So he's like, I didn't get out because why would I? I just blocked out a few balls and then let the set batsman on the other end hit out. That's it. And that's like playing standard, but the guy thought, you've taken my bribe, here's my money. And he's kind of like, well, I probably shouldn't have taken the money, but Officially, it was just money he gave me for like being a cool dude. So what can I do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? That's cool.
So yeah, it's a great insight into talking about cricket before the WG Grace era. Like it talks about a lot of things about how the game was played back in the 1820s. So
yeah,
it's well worth reading. Like George Bernard Fraser's a great writer. Flashman's a great book series to read. Full stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, cricket is the way it is because that's just the way it's always been. One of the reasons we have so much data on that first USA-Canada game is arguably that game is what started the relationship between the USA and Canada. The a cricket club from New York thought they got an invitation from a Canadian cricket club and they moved up to Toronto, nearly bankrupting themselves, traveling across the border to get to Toronto, and it turned out it was a hoax.
Oh dear.
The club there went, okay, but since you've come all the way, we'll like have games and we'll sell tickets and we'll get, we'll make some publicity. And then the Governor General of Canada showed up to like watch games and like and everybody was really happy and they're like, you guys, that was really cool. Like they said, look, the Americans went, why don't you come down to America and we'll play an actual USA versus Canada game rather than a club game.
Yeah.
So they took players from multiple clubs in Canada to play against multiple clubs in the USA, and there was estimated something like $200,000 American dollars in New York bet on the game.
Wow.
As it happened over 3 days. So it was huge.
That's huge,
But, like betting is like, sports betting was made illegal in America and had to be re-legalized in a bunch of states just recently in the last decade. So that tells you how huge it was for the time, and like 200,000 in like those days money is a lot of
that's
money.
a lot of money. Yeah, that's just crazy.
It might also be like the inflation adjusted figure, but still like it's a lot of money.
Either way, that's a lot of money. It's either a huge amount of money or still a large amount of money.
Like a lot of money, and it was played in Central Park, so they couldn't even charge for tickets. So that's always a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good. This is like it's a really important thing, but it's also like they knew they were gonna make money off gambling houses and things like this.
Yeah.
And there's so many stories about in the first ever official test match, one of the players who didn't play for that England team was their wicketkeeper, who, because this team had toured New Zealand before going to England, there was a game they were playing in Christchurch, which was the England team, 11 versus 22 Kiwis. And he went to a bookmaker and said, I want to bet on what I think is going to be the most common score. And being a smart cookie, he said, I bet it'll be 0.
Right, yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a dodge factor in here in that he also umpired in that game. That 0 turned out to, because England were so much better than these amateurs playing they're playing 11 versus 22. That already tells you how much better they are.
Yeah.
And they got a bunch of people out for ducks, especially your lower order, when you're going to your 19th, 20th, your 15th downwards batsman, they're gonna be crap. And then he went to collect his bet, and apparently they got into a fight a bit with the bookie who said that he cheated. Yeah. And he accidentally damaged some property, and he had to stay there for a trial. And apparently the jury basically absolved him because they were like, there's absolutely no proof, and we were at the game, and you did every umpiring decision correctly.
Yeah.
So he has no grounds. Also, we feel so bad for you that they did a collection, and they earned him enough money to get a thing back to England.
Oh, nice.
But this guy had a rep though, because his Wisden article is pretty much like, oh, he's a bit of a larrikin. And you're like, oh yeah, we know what that means.
Say no more.
He's a cheeky chappy.
Yeah.
But that's how it's from the first ever test match. There's a match fixing scandal.
Yeah.
No? So it's not going to leave our sport, but also doesn't mean that we can't do better.
Yeah, exactly.
But either way, I think I'm really, really looking forward to this tournament. I'm slowly but surely getting into it. I'm like gonna I'm gonna get up early in the morning to watch the Champions League final, and then and then I'm going to go on to watch the cricket game between the USA and Canada.
Nice. Good plans.
Yeah. And yeah, I think I just have a feeling, man. I'm just gonna call it. I think it's our turn now.
I think it's our time. I like it.
New Zealand are the only team to have made white ball final without winning one.
Yeah.
So far. So yeah, that's my prediction. Black Caps this time. It's our cup. We're gonna win the cup.
We're gonna win the cup. I think so as well. I definitely have a lot of bias in that decision, but we're gonna win. I want to believe.
Exactly. But I think on that note, that's all we have time for today.
Yeah.
We hope you all enjoyed the Cricket World Cup when it comes on, and enjoy this podcast when you're hearing it. Thanks very much for listening, and we look forward to hearing from you next time.
Catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, we have even more. NineSixFourTwo Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.